Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all doing well. This is the second video in the mini series using the molds from Shop Resin Molds, and I am in love with this. This is a cactus coaster mold. Now they have given me a code for you guys, which is CCC 2021 for 10% off at the checkout, and this is an ongoing code. It does not expire. So yeah, this video, this mold, it pushed me, but I'm so excited for you to see the results. Let's go. So my plan was originally to create some brightly coloured cactus coasters. Now, the reason I say this pushed me, this mould really pushed me, is because we all know that Jesmonite is quite a weak substance on demold, and it tested me, guys. It really tried and tested me, but I got there in the end. I swapped out my method and I actually went in a completely new direction, and oh my gosh, the results. You would have already seen the thumbnail. I am obsessed and in love. But here I am. This is a tip for you guys. If you want any detail in your mold, I've actually put some Jesmonite with the right correct mixture, the 1 to 2.5 ratio, coloured it in green, and I've put it in one of my little squeezy bottles. And my idea was to create these dots, I guess, thorns on the cactus, using lots and lots of little mini dots within the coaster. And the bottle worked really well. It was really a dream. I washed it out straight away so that I didn't get any Jesmonite stuck in the nib. Now, this is where it tested me. Okay, the mold is great, but the Jesmonite is weak at this point. And it cracked and I wanted to cry. So I made another one, just plain, no dots, and it cracked. And then I thought, do you know, let's just go bright colours. Let's just go, yeah, that happened. And I worked out that basically there is a weak spot. If you're using this mould with Jesmonite, it's a perfect mould for resin, but with Jesmonite, there's a weak spot where it's only joined in two places, and that's where it continued to crack. What I did was I left the Jesmonite in the mould for an hour. Instead of demolding after 30 minutes, I allowed it to get stronger, and I got two beautifully perfect green cactus. And yeah, that's all I had to do, was just leave it longer and really go easy on demold if you're using these coasters for Jesmonite. As it stands, worked really well the longer you leave it in there. They didn't sweat, they haven't got any sweat marks, which was great. I just would recommend, if you're using Jesmonite, leave it in the mold longer. So at this stage, my brain is taking me off in another direction. I'm thinking I no longer want to do coasters. I want to create a trinket holder, a bracelet holder, watch holder, anything that you kind of is your go-to jewellery wear on a daily basis. I'm going to create a desert oasis because, you know, who doesn't love a little desert oasis scene? So I've got my two cactus that came out really well. Into the Jesmonite, I am using some code, and I'm also using some of the darker yellow. So there's two yellow pigments. I'm using the darker one to create a deserty sandy base. Now this is the other mold they sent me, which is a cloud mold, which I was going to make some, you know, brightly coloured coasters with, but I figured it would work like a dream for this. Now, look at this, guys. I'm doing a dirty pour. One of my favourite things to do right now is a dirty pour. I'm using just those two colours, the code and the yellow, and look at this pattern. It came out so beautiful, and it just reminded me of desert, arid desert, and I loved it. It was perfect for where my brain was going. You know, this was out of my comfort zone. Quite often I do a lot of things that I know I can do. So at this stage, when my brain was saying, you know, make a desert oasis, I did have to have a word with myself, but it came out so nice and it was so cute. Unlike anything I've really made before. My worry was that the bubbles rise to the top, don't they, on Jesmonite? And this was my worry, that I'd get a surface full of bubbles. It turned out okay. In the end, I was kind of lucky. Ooh, shaky camera action. But yeah, it turned out really, really well. I gave it a bit of a shimmy, bit of a shake. Now my plan is to put both cactus inside the Jesmonite at this stage and prop them up. And yeah, I really should have planned how I was going to prop them up before I put them in. But we got there in the end. I just bought in two of my Jesmonite pigment bottles, and I put them behind each cactus to hold them in place while the Jesmonite set. I'm making it look way more fiddly than it is, but really guys, you just have to plan and prepare, something I don't do very often. So at this stage, all I'm doing is resting the cactus in there and then putting the bottles in place. And it pretty much did okay, but I did want the cactus to be as upright as possible, and obviously at this stage they're resting back a bit, they're leaning back a bit, and I really didn't want that. So I found myself some professional tools and I shoved a load of sellotape in between the cactus and the bottles, which made them stand upright. But just to be sure that they didn't tip forward, I actually did in the end wrap a bit of tape at the top of those cactus and just bring it back to the bottle to make sure that they were kind of gonna stay there and not just flop forward. This is around about 5 minutes later, no, I want to say 3 minutes later, before it cured. I decided to throw some stones in there. So these stones are from the garden centre. They're decorative stones for your home decor, etc. And I thought it would be just really nice to add to that desert theme of rocks and cactus, and yeah, having a bit of a rocky floor, if that makes sense. So I just threw some rocks in around the bases of the cactus just for, oh yeah, my heart, guys. My heart. It does come out really well, so that's why I'm happy on the voiceover, because I know how it came out and I'm so chuffed with it. But yeah, here you see me just putting rocks in nilly-willy, no rhyme or reason, just shove them in wherever you feel like it. And I did end up putting some along the front, and then I ended up putting some around the back as well. And my worry was that they'd sink because the Jesmonite is not yet cured. It's gone a few minutes, but it's not yet cured. But they didn't sink. They kind of just floated on the surface, and I went for some flat pebbles as well, and then I kind of added a little bit more and a little bit more just to build them up. And I really loved it at this point. I just thought, this is the cutest thing. This is the cutest thing I've ever made, honestly, unlike anything I've made before, but I was loving it. And then I was kind of like, all right, Claire, go me. I've got an imagination there somewhere, you know, it's kind of hiding in the back a lot of the time. But yeah, I was so chuffed with this, and even just adding the rocks just made it look like a landscape, like a desert oasis. And that is when I decided that's what I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it a desert oasis with cactus. So that was really all I'm going to do at this point, and I decided to just walk away and come back half an hour later to see what it's looking like. But here is a little close-up, and I absolutely at this point love it. I love it. The desert, the muddy pour, look at that. Oh, I'm in love. So this was about 30 minutes later. I came back upstairs to demold, and look at this. Even without the cactus, that desert floor, that sandy floor, I am in love, guys. But yeah, proper love it. Let me know what you think at this stage. Now look at the back. Oh, isn't that gorgeous? So this combination of the yellow, the darker yellow, and the code, I am 100% going to use again. I think this would look beautiful in plant pots and pretty much anything, I'm not gonna lie. Even a tray, if I can get that surface that I got here on a tray, then I could put handles straight in and make the most beautiful desert floor tray. I could even add pebbles. Right, my brain is going crazy here. But listen, has anyone else got 27,000 hair ties laying around their house but can only find one? That is exactly what I thought at this point. I could store my hair ties on this, leave it on my bedside table to store my hair ties, and I'll never lose them again, because right now I'm lucky if I find one a day laying around, probably on the floor or down the back of the sofa. It's chronic. And if anyone out there knows, the struggle is real. But I did decide this would make a perfect bracelet and watch and hair tie holder. I mean, there's no other way of putting it. Accessory holder. Accessory holder is what I've actually called it. And it works really well. The cactus are surprisingly strong. They don't feel fragile. They don't feel like they're going to snap at any point. They just feel so sturdy. And that cloud base is... it's just a dream for me. And I was really sitting there thinking, well, this is different. This is so different to anything I've made before. And I love it. There's something about miniature worlds, you know, kind of allows you to escape and get away. So for about a whole half an hour here, I was in the desert in Arizona, soaking up the sun, unlike the blustery wind that we've got here today. But yeah, let me know what you think, guys. I hope you've absolutely loved it. I am going to put the details in the description box down below for Shop Resin Molds. And yeah, let me know your thoughts. Do leave me a comment. I am still replying to 100% of all comments left for me. Hope you've loved it, and I will see you in the next video, which is going to be Saturday. And I cannot stress this enough. I am so excited for Saturday's video, and you have to be there. Okay, this is probably the most glorious video that I have done with Jesmonite to date. So excited for it. Hope you love it as much as I do. Yeah, hello Mr. Hair Tie. I'll see you all in the next video, guys. Bye.